All right, fourth grade, today you are going to be putting together your different pieces and parts from this Egypt project to make a final collage. Okay, collage is where I'm using different mediums or pieces and parts of an art project to put them together to make a final piece of art. So you're going to get your drawing back, and if your drawing is not finished, that needs to come first. You're going to get your prints back, and at the drive-thru you need to choose a background piece of paper as well as pick up 2 to 4 pieces of metal. So today you're going to be embossing a frame to go around the outside edge. So embossing is where I am pushing in or engraving a pattern onto my metal. So everyone's going to need a magazine. That soft surface helps my pencil to press in to make a mark. You could think about these hieroglyphics that we were working with in the past project, including some kind of message. It could spell something out. It could have just some cool symbols on here, or you could create a line and shape pattern. So something to think about is using different shapes or lines that you know to create something interesting for that finishing pattern. All right, your frame is just as important as those other things. It's kind of like the icing on the cake. So make sure you're intentional about what you put on here. I'm doing kind of a polka dotted pattern for this one. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing on this foam. It's got to be, or not on the foam, on this metal. It's got to be on the magazine. Okay, that's what's kind of pressing in through the surface. If I just did it on the table, I'm not really going to make a good mark. And you can kind of feel as you work the fact that you're pressing in to emboss into that metal. So just using a pencil. When that's completed, you could think about if you wanted to add some Sharpie color details. Okay, but I'll leave that up to you. You could just think about leaving just that pattern, kind of that shiny metal surface. Okay, so lots of artist choice to make here. After you have at least 2, so either a top or a side, you could do 4, so you could have a frame all the way around. I'll leave that up to you. You need to cut out your animal or your god. All right, so cutting on the outside edge of that black line. Okay, if I cut on the black line, I'm going to cut off some of my line that I drew. Okay, I'm careful not to kind of make a bubble cut because that will show up on my print page. So scissors are really slow so that you don't accidentally make a mistake. I'm cutting on the outside edge of that line to cut out your Egyptian god. So when my Egyptian god is totally cut out, then I need to glue it to my printing page. Okay, using a glue stick so that we don't get kind of warped marks from a glue bottle. I just did a line around the edge, gluing that first to my print, my symbols, make sure they're pointing the right way. I'm going all the way down to the bottom edge. I'm not leaving any gaps like this. Okay, then it looks like the head is not quite attached to the body. Okay, and count to 10. Make sure everything's glued down nice and secure. I'm trying not to have anything kind of hang off the edge. And then this whole thing gets glued to that background paper. So as you're gluing to this background paper, make sure you're paying really good attention, having good craftsmanship about getting it as close to the center as you can. When I put that metal frame on, if it's like this, that's not going to look quite so good. Okay, so getting it as close to that edge as center as I can, I'm paying attention to that space around. All right, and this is the part where you're going to need me. I need to hot glue your metal pieces to create your frames. So when you get this far, you need to raise a quiet hand or come and meet me at my desk so I can glue these edges on. It's not going to look, or this glue won't glue those down. When that is finished, your name needs to be on the back with your class code, and it goes into the drawing rack. This project is finished, and it looks super cool with all these different pieces and parts that you created.